Imagine you're walking down a street with the person you love. Say something funny, maybe they laugh, and then boom, you're holding their hands, but the rest of them is everywhere. Just guts, just blood, and you're just standing there. How would you react? Would you scream? Freeze? Would you break? That's where we meet Hughie Campbell, covered in blood, holding the severed hands of his girlfriend Robin after A-Train turns her into pulp. And because of this moment, this whole story, this whole secret war between humans and soups starts with one regular guy getting wrecked by it. Now, I'll be honest with you, when I first watched the show, I honestly didn't like Hughie. And this video was supposed to be completely different because I thought I remembered him under a different light completely. But the more I rewatched just Hughie, apart from the group, looking at his choices, his reactions, the more I realized I wasn't being fair. I know, it's not the smartest thing I've ever said, but this was a turning point for me and this whole video because it was supposed to be completely different. Hughie isn't weak. He's human and he is like us. Unless you're ex-military or were trained to dismember people with a stapler, then fine, maybe not you. But the rest of us, he's it. Hey everyone, I'm Nikanak. I make videos twice a week about everything I question and overthink. And today we're talking about Sunshine himself, the most anxious man in America, and his arc. Or maybe the loop. Today we're talking about Hughie Campbell, the guy who starts this war but can't seem to decide how he wants to fight it, and why that might be the most relatable and most frustrating thing about him. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I can't do that. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna fuck it up, and you're not gonna have your bug, and I'll be dead. I'm not like you.
Hughie starts out small. He's got a retail job, a quiet life, a girlfriend who makes him laugh. But even before everything explodes, sorry pun intended, the show gives us clues about who he is. Someone who avoids conflict. When Robin asks if he asked for a raise, he deflects.
Look, it was a crazy day, and he was super busy, but tomorrow, for sure, yes.
He didn't ask. He never does. That's the pattern we see. Hughie doesn't fight, he retreats. And then, as we all know, Robin is killed. Mid-sentence, mid-laugh, A-Train runs right through her. 1 second they're talking, the next he's holding her hands, and nothing else. And the worst part about all of this that I don't really think the Hughie haters understand is that this is a trauma that literally no one prepares you for. But what really breaks Hughie isn't just the gore or the grief, it's how quickly the world tells him to forget it. Vought sends a check, his dad urges him to move on, even the news tells a cleaner version of events. The message is loud, don't make trouble. That's what makes this scene with the Vought lawyer / rep so important. We see two Hughie's, one in his head.
I'm not signing anything, get out.
Get the hell out!
And the other, the real one, who just stares ahead, overwhelmed and silent. When this fantasy fades, all he can think to say is,
Really, pretty standard stuff.
Can I think about it?
That's what fear looks like for him. Not screaming, but stalling. Then comes Butcher. Butcher doesn't offer healing for Hughie. He offers him a purpose, a direction to point Hughie's anger.
I'm offering you the opportunity to get them that got your girl. What have you got to lose? You ain't already lost.
And Hughie follows, but not out of courage, but because it's the first real option he's given. His early choices aren't confident or careful. He's not planning anything. He's just angry and overwhelmed. And Butcher gives him something to hold on to, even if it's a barbed wire. It's not a plan, it's just the next thing in front of him. So Hughie lies, spies, signs the NDA, and gets caught. He gets lucky.
You should fuck off, Hughie.
And then there's Translucent. Hughie doesn't set out to kill him. That's just not who he is. Not yet. But when Translucent tries to escape and Hughie realizes what that means, what Vought will do if he gets out, he panics. He hesitates, and then he hits the button. It's not a bold move, not a confident move. It's fear, pressure, and possibly even anger. But it's the first time Hughie makes a real choice, and once he does, everything changes. He's not confident, but he keeps moving. That's how Hughie moves and operates in season 1. Momentum over mastery. Then there's Annie/Starlight. She's everything Butcher isn't. Hopeful, idealistic, willing to believe they're still good in the system.
I'm gonna take that son of a bitch's head clean off his body.
Okay, wow, that was cool. A little scary, but cool.
And she reminds Hughie of who he was before this all started. That connection should technically ground him, but it complicates everything, because now he's lying again, not to protect her, but because he's split between two selves, the man she sees and the man he's becoming.
More awful secrets you want to tell me? More drugs that I was dosed with as a kid?
Look, that
maybe?
just came out. I'm sorry. I thought maybe you wanted to know the truth.
Oh, okay, so you're all about the truth.
That push and pull follows him through the rest of the season. Hughie isn't comfortable in either world, not Vought's, not Butcher's. He's caught in between, trying to hold onto a moral compass that just keeps on spinning. Now, by the end of season 1, he's killed a soup, betrayed the woman he's falling for, and becomes more complicit in a war he barely understands. But what makes Hughie interesting isn't that he changes completely, it's that he's starting to see that he has to. He still wants to do the right thing, he just doesn't know what that is anymore.
We have to save them. This is never gonna stop. It's just gonna be more blood and...
That's the fucking game. If you don't like to play, why did you join the fucking team?
Mallory's right. You're just gonna drag us all down with you. Not me. Not anymore.
Now, at the start of season 2, Hughie is trying to lead. The team is fractured. Butcher's gone. Everyone's hiding. And Hughie, maybe out of desperation, tries to rally them around exposing Vought to the public. He wants to do this the right way, not with guns or blackmail, but with the truth. But the others don't follow, and Hughie, for all his optimism, doesn't have the authority to lead them. And eventually, Frenchie calls Butcher back.
You called him.
I'm sorry, but Hughie, it's not a game now. We need a real captain.
Now, this moment for Hughie is betrayal. He's trying to be something new, a strategist, a leader. But the moment Butcher walks through the door, the old hierarchy snaps back into place. Hughie becomes the sidekick again. So he leans on Annie. And now they're in this together, fighting the same enemy. But Annie's still inside Vought, under pressure and constantly walking on eggshells.
Right, yeah!
Wow, welcome back.
Thanks. Thank you.
And Hughie, instead of being her support, starts looking to her for validation.
And now I feel like I'm that kid, and I'm gonna drown. And thank God I found my second win, because it's you.
For meaning. He makes her into proof that he's still a good guy. But that gap between them grows. Annie has powers. She's saving people, risking her life. Hughie's just watching. And the more he clings, the more she pulls away.
You can't go through this on your own.
We're all alone. That's the truth.
Now this hits his self-worth hard. Throughout the season, we see him doubt himself more, crack jokes to deflect, avoid hard truths.
You can't even give me this, can you? Not one goddamn win.
He's not growing stronger, he's trying to hold himself together. Then comes the leak. Hughie helps Annie expose Compound V to the world, the thing he wanted from the beginning. But it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything within the group, and Vought, of course, shifts the narrative. The public shrugs, the machine keeps moving. This is Hughie's breaking point, not because the plan failed, but because it should have worked. He did the right thing. He trusted the process, and it still meant nothing. So by the end of season 2, Hughie doesn't rage. He doesn't collapse. He just steps away. He tells Annie he needs to stand on his own.
Maybe I am too clingy.
No, you're not.
Sticking with people just because I'm terrified of losing them, I can't do that.
And for once, he follows through. Now, the last time we see him in season 2, he's walking into Victoria Newman's office, asking for a job. Not under Butcher, not with the boys, but on his own terms. He still wants to fight Vought, but now he wants to do it differently.
What about your team?
Don't get me wrong, I still want to fight Vought. I want to do it the right way. Not covered in quite as many guts.
Season 3 opens with Hughie in a suit and smiling. For once, he actually seems stable and happy. He's working for the Federal Bureau of Superhuman Affairs under Congresswoman Victoria Newman, and this job gives him structure, legitimacy, and more than anything, Hughie believes he's doing good. He's doing things the right way.
That's Hughie Campbell, right? He helped bring down Stormfront.
And he's dating Starlight.
No more lies, no more blood, just accountability through the system. But, of course, it is the boys, and everything falls apart very, very quickly. When he discovers that Newman is secretly a soup, and worse, the head popper responsible for the deaths he's been trying to stop, everything falls apart. The law, the job, the path he trusted, it's all just another layer of corruption. Hughie doesn't just feel betrayed, he feels humiliated. He thought he'd finally found his way. Turns out it was still Vought's. So he falls back into old patterns. He goes back to Butcher.
I thought we could fight Vought the right way, but we can't. It's all rigged. If we're gonna take them down, we have to do whatever it takes. We have to do it your way.
He wants to do something that matters again. But this time, Hughie doesn't just follow Butcher. He takes Temp V. He says it's to help Annie. He doesn't want her to keep saving him. But what he really wants is control over his own narrative, over his usefulness, over his place in this fight. The powers let him punch back.
And then... Oh shit, I'm sorry.
For someone who spent 3 seasons getting tossed aside or shielded by others, it's intoxicating, and his face says it. And honestly, I don't blame him. From everything we've seen so far, Hughie is the weakest link. That's just how it is. And to finally get to feel like you can do something, like you can help, like you can protect, it's pretty freaking cool. But that feeling comes with a cost. And it all starts with Annie. Hughie tells Annie that he's taking Temp V. She's furious. She makes him promise not to use it again, and he says he won't. But then he does. He takes another dose.
I mean, who do you guys want? Do you guys want gawky, weak, freaking the fuck out Hughie, or do you want strong, confident, handling his shit Hughie? With it, I can actually help. Without it, I'm probably dead.
And then he takes yet another dose. At that point, Hughie doesn't even know how dangerous Temp V really is. The fatal side effects don't get revealed to him until later, but what drives him isn't ignorance, it's desperation. In episode 6, he says it out loud.
Jesus Christ, all I want is to save you.
You keep saying that, but I don't need you to save me.
Right, God forbid I help you because I always have to be the weak one.
And that feeling, that need, is what pushes him to take the risk in the first place. Not because it's smart or right, but because he wants to matter. So while Hughie may have stopped taking Temp V physically, the reason he started, that deeper insecurity, doesn't go away so easily. Still, Season 3 gives Hughie a turning point. During the final fight with Homelander and Soldier Boy, Hughie has a choice. Take another dose and join the fight physically, or step back and help in another way. He chooses the latter. He boosts Annie's power instead, using the studio lights so she can stand a chance. So Hughie doesn't try to outshine her, he supports her.
You sure you want to do this?
I don't need it. I don't. The suit never gave me any power. And Vought sure as shit didn't. It's always just been me.
Now, Season 4 shifts the focus away from external fights and towards something more internal. For Hughie, the battle isn't with soups this season. It's with helplessness, grief, and long-avoided parts of himself. When his father has a stroke, Hughie is pulled back into a family he spent years keeping at arm's length. He's always feared becoming like his dad, passive, stuck, incapable of action.
Just sat there eating pizza rolls. I spent so much time thinking he was sad and weak, just a loser.
Now that same man is fading before him, and the fear turns into something else, regret.
You get better, okay? You get better, and I will talk to you for hours about Deadly Cross.
Then his mother reappears. She left Hughie when he was young, and her sudden return only complicates things. They argue, they're distant, but they're also the only two people who truly understand what it means to watch Hugh Sr. slip away. When A-Train gives Hughie a vial of Compound V, a chance to save his father, Hughie thankfully doesn't act on it immediately. He even tells Butcher, and Butcher advises him not to do it.
Oh, Hughie. Look, I know it's insane and terrible, but what other choice do I have?
Any other fucking choice, you twat.
And that pause is truly important, but not because of what Butcher said. It's because Hughie, earlier in the series, chased power the second it became available. Here, he hesitates because he knows what V does to people. He knows the cost. But his mother doesn't know, and she acts without him. At first, it seems like it truly worked. His dad wakes up, laughs, talks, but the recovery doesn't last. Hugh Sr. starts phasing through walls, forgetting names, getting violent. The cure becomes something worse than the stroke ever was, and Hughie has to make the unfortunate choice. Keep trying to fix what's already gone, or accept it and let his father go. So, Hughie ends his father's life, not out of anger or desperation, but mercy. And this scene is also important for what's to come next, is because it's not driven by action, it's driven by clarity, something Hughie spent most of the series chasing.
I'm not gonna hold on, okay? You can go. I love you too, son. Might we, Hughie?
Then comes the clearest statement of his growth so far. Once again, not in action, but in reflection. In episode 8, Hughie tells the team,
What's insane is that our solution to every problem is murder. I used to freak out whenever I saw blood. Now I barely blink at it.
This is the same man who once took Temp V just to feel strong, who lied to Annie, who couldn't imagine being powerless and still being useful. Now, hopefully, he understands that control isn't strength, mercy is. Letting go isn't a weakness, it's the hardest thing he's ever done.
Violence isn't brave, but forgiveness, letting go, a little fucking mercy. That's brave.
Now, over 4 seasons, Hughie keeps circling the same question. What kind of man does he want to be? He goes from grief and revenge to idealism and doing it the right way, back to violence, and then briefly to grace. He grows, but never quite settles. So the real question is whether he holds on to that in season 5, or slips back into the same old loop. Let's take a look at what we know so far. Also, this is just a warning, there might be spoilers ahead, especially for those like me who haven't read the comics. I don't know if this is what's gonna happen, but just in case if you don't want to ruin it for yourself. So far, not much has been revealed about season 5, but we do know it's the final one, and Hughie is still standing. Now, according to actor Jack Quaid, each season marked a stage in Hughie's growth. In the first season, he's like a baby. The second, a kid. Third, a rebellious teenager. Fourth, he really matures. And then I think, season 5, is the season where he's a full-blown man. That makes it very unlikely they'll kill him off right after he reaches that point. Especially since in the comics, Hughie survives it all. He takes over Butcher's role, not as a killer, but as someone who keeps Vought in check. And he ends up with Annie, living off the grid. Now, will the show follow that? Well, it's not confirmed, but we're not heading toward a big power-up or some explosive twist for Hughie. If anything, season 5 might be about something harder, holding steady, knowing who he is, and finally staying that way. But what about you? Let me know your thoughts about Hughie, because on the intranet, I've read that a lot of people either hate him or love him. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think his fate will be in season 5. And if you're still here, thanks for watching. And now remember, the important thing is to always keep questioning, even me. Till next time.